Here it is, the video you've obviously all been waiting for. Here are 19 reasons to watch the 2002 made-for-TV version of Carrie. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. Check the links in the description for links to my Stephen King quiz book, to the Constant Writers podcast, to my own fiction, my newsletter, and some other stuff as well. But most of all, thank you so much for checking this video out, and I hope you enjoy it. Now this time out we are continuing our chronological walk through the movies and adaptations of Stephen King's works, and we're in 2002, which is a bit of a weird year. And we're covering, as you know from the start, the made-for-TV remake of Carrie that nobody asked for. But we're going to talk about it anyway. So this one was written by Bryan Fuller, it was directed by David Carson, and starring in the lead role was Angela Bettis, who's quite well known from Girl Interrupted. And interestingly, this one was actually something of an attempt to be a backdoor pilot for a Carrie TV series. And I'll talk more about that later in the video. Now, if you're worried about spoilers, if you've not seen this version of Carrie before and you're worried some of the things I talk about might ruin a first time watch, don't worry. Anything that might do that will be hidden behind a spoiler alert, so at that point you can just find the timestamp for the outro in the description and skip to the end. Now, if you want to try and find this, if you're watching this video in the US, you can check this version of Carrie out on Tubi, but also I'm just saying, if you look without looking particularly hard, you might just be able to find it on YouTube. Okay, let's get into these 19 reasons. Video. So what's the headline key takeaway reason to watch this? Tough. I'll give you that, because the De Palma version from 1976 is not just a bona fide classic of horror, but of cinema in general. But if I'm going to offer you one reason, it's that this one sticks more closely to the book. And we get things like The Rocks from the Sky, we get Springtime in Venice as the prom theme, and we get to see Chamberlain burn. But, yeah, other than that, it's a tough one to really sell to you. They do try some interesting things, like they even try and do the epistolary style of the book in the form of having police interviews with survivors and using that as almost a flashback thing, which is a bold attempt, but it doesn't really work particularly well here. There's also the thing I mentioned about the pilot, but I can't talk about that until after the spoiler alert. So again, my headline reason, it's different and it gives you pretty much everything from the book. Oh, also, if for whatever reason you've got a hankering to feel like it's 2002 again, watch this movie. I'm honestly surprised that when I turned this movie off, I hadn't transported back in time to my teenage bedroom where I had Slipknot posters on the ceiling to stare down at me as I went to sleep, and I was expecting my hair to be short and spiky like I rocked it back then. This couldn't feel more 2002. The handheld camera and Dutch angles just give me motion sickness the whole time, and yeah, it is a vibe for sure.
You suck.
So obviously a lot of the questions at the time around this were, well, why are you remaking De Palma's Carrie? Like, that movie is pretty much perfect. And writer Bryan Fuller said that with this, he wanted to make something more epic than the De Palma version. Not quite sure where that one ended up. Perhaps his script for that one got lost in the mail and got switched for this one, because this one is a lot of things. Epic is not one of them. This one is also something of the CGI nightmare, so if that tickles your fancy, and I know there are people out there who do seek out these things, then do check this out. It's not quite on the level of the Langoliers, but it's not good. And I get it, TV at this time didn't have the prestige, didn't have the budget, and the effects were probably just not there. But even so, they're still not good. And there's too many of them, which I think is the problem. You could have used them sparingly and got away with it, but they just tried to pack too much in. And frankly, they look shit. So let's talk about the cast. There's lots of people to mention, so I'm going to cluster a few people together for different reasons. So to start off, we've got Patricia Clarkson as Margaret White, who is tame, which is an interesting take, but is wickedly underused in this. We have Tobias Mailer as Tommy Ross, who just looks like a man in his 30s, not a high school student. We have Rena Sofa as Mr. Jardin, who is admittedly incredibly striking, but not particularly good. And we have Jessie Cadott as Billy Nolan, who is fugly as anything and is punching way above his weight with his girlfriend Chris Hargensen. However, there are a few solid turns in this one. So Candice McClure as Sue Snell is pretty darn solid throughout. David Keith, yes, that's Andy from Firestarter. He's great as the detective in this. I really enjoy him. Train. And I thought that Emily de Ravin from Lost, Claire from Lost, you may recognise her, I thought she was brilliant as Chris Hargensen. Really, really nasty. Just what you want from that character. That train's still going. Still going. Still going. It's gone. But the only substantial praise I can really give to the cast here is for Angela Bettis in the titular role of Carrie. She plays it pretty close to the book, and she is captivating throughout this, and she actually makes the overly long runtime of this movie bearable, because in a weird way it's kind of fun spending a bit more time getting to know her and getting to see her develop and see her bring something to the character of Carrie that is a bit different than what we're used to from Sissy Spacek's iconic portrayal of that particular troubled young girl.
What did I do?
So lastly, before spoilers, look, I cannot and will not say you have to watch this. I think in my Letterboxd review I said it's one for the diehards and the completionists, of which I am both. But for what it's worth, I found this to be an interesting take, and I kind of liked it, even though objectively it's not good. The effects are bad, it's too long, but I just have a soft spot for this particular story, and I don't mind seeing another version of it. And spoiler alert for this channel in the coming weeks, probably months, I think this is better than the 2013 version, for sure. Okay, from this point onwards, I'm going to be showing some of my favourite scenes, talking about favourite lines, all of that kind of stuff. Stuff that might ruin a first time watch. So if you want to keep all of those things as a surprise for when you watch it for the first time, find the timestamp of the outro in the description and skip ahead. Otherwise, stick around because I've got a few more reasons for you to watch the 2002 made for TV version of Carrie coming right up. So I've mentioned this is much closer to the book, and it really is, almost to the point where it hamstrung itself. Like, it's so faithful that it's not bringing anything new to the table at all. And yet, as I've said, I liked it. I liked seeing the rocks, I liked seeing the town burn, and I especially liked seeing the gas station explode. Kaboom. Right, let's have some fun for the rest of this video. I'm just going to shout out some of my favourite scenes, favourite moments from this movie, because there are some that make you go, huh? Starting off with the quite incredible scenes where Carrie gets that annoying kid off his bike. I mean, just look at it.
Creepy Carrie! Creepy Carrie!
And how about this surprise appearance from Pennywise? Oh, no, wait, sorry. That's just Carrie, unable to do lipstick. Oh.
Oh. That's not what that's for.
The school principal's failure, complete failure, to get Carrie's name right did make me laugh, even though it felt like a very forced scene. It's like, come on, man, focus.
In the meantime, I think, what's her name?
Carrie?
Carrie should be sent home for the rest of the day. Send in Carrie, right?
It's Carrie White.
Come in, Cassie.
What is interesting, of course, is seeing this movie's take on the very iconic moments from the book and original movie. The shower scene, for example, very different, and actually I found it quite chilling. Sort of Lord of the Flies sinister type way. See what I mean? Now, the blood dump onto Carrie's head was not great, but they did salvage some bonus points for the absolutely hilarious clang when the bucket hit Tommy's head. I enjoyed that. One of the big problems with this is it's not particularly scary and the kills are pretty tame because it was made for TV. But one kill I did enjoy was this slam dunk. However, my overall favourite moment from this is a really tiny one, but it's right after Carrie's got the blood dumped on her head. And if you watch closely in the background, there's a geezer there who's dressed as a gondolier. And he looks at what's happened and kind of gets a sense of where Carrie's going. And you can see he's like, nah, I saw that De Palma movie. I am getting the fuck out of here. And he escapes. I don't know. It just tickled me. Don't know why. As for my favourite line, I mean, generally the script in this sucks. But this moment where Carrie gets a compliment from one of her peers when she arrives at the prom, genuinely hilarious.
Look at your ass! What?
Oh, okay, now who's gay, right?
Okay, after seeing your ass, the whole nun in street clothes thing, it's no longer acceptable.
Look at your ass. So when it comes to links to other King adaptations, I've mentioned David Keith, who was in the 1984 Firestarter movie, and also we have Kaylin Simmons, who played Helen in the It miniseries. And if you're wondering who that is, it's the little girl. It's the first victim we see Pennywise kill in that miniseries, the little girl in the laundry line. Other than that, I don't think I caught anything else. Did you? Let me know. Okay, let's talk about the ending. So, after navigating 2 attempts at a sort of tribute to the original iconic jump scare ending, both very bad, I will put out there, Carrie survives. Yeah. So Sue Snell finds her, brings her back to life, puts her in hiding for a bit, and at the end of this movie, Sue is driving Carrie down to Florida for her to start a new life on her own. But, like I mentioned at the start, this was actually penned as a backdoor pilot for what the producers had hoped would be a Carrie TV series, the premise of which was basically Carrie and Sue travelling around trying to help other folk with their telekinesis woes, I guess like a telekinesis agony aunt, to try and make Carrie feel a bit better about the fact she killed, you know, like 230 people. Unsurprisingly, that did not get picked up. And even though I know it would have sucked completely, I still kind of want to watch it. At least read the script. What about you? Would you have checked that series out? Let me know.
I want to talk about Carrie White.
Okay, there we have it. 19 reasons to watch the 2002 made-for-TV version of Carrie. I mean, I kind of enjoyed going back to watch this, even if it was too long, and I found it pretty interesting. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. And while you're there, check out the links in the description to my Stephen King quiz book, to my newsletter, to my fiction, the Constant Writers podcast, all of those kind of things. If you're not subscribed already, consider hitting that button so you don't miss any future videos. And if you are, thank you so much. Maybe tell a friend, but more than anything, thank you for watching and thank you for getting this far. And you're going to want to be back next time, because next time we're still in 2002 and we're still on not particularly good things that were made for TV with Stephen King's name attached to it. Gee, weren't the aughts really great?